All right, hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Best Loser. And it's time for me to do the weekly forex forecast for the upcoming week. All right, without any further delays, guys, you already know how we go about this. We take a look at the economical calendar to see what we have from a fundamental perspective for the upcoming week. All right, so now I'm going into Forex Factory. We can see, well, for next week, I've filtered for the high and medium impact news, and you can see we are quite loaded. When the week starts, we do have the CPI data. Okay, this is high impact news. Okay, coming out from the Canadian axis on Monday, and then on Tuesday, not much. Wage price index, that's 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Wednesday, we do have the CPI data, another high impact, okay, coming out from the British axis, and also obviously 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, that is FOMC minutes. And then on Thursday, we do have the employment and unemployment data coming out from the United States axis. On Friday, we do have retail sales data and a bunch of PMIs, okay, coming out from the European axis as well. All right. So again, personally, I prefer not to trade when the news is coming out, especially for my intraday positions. But again, follow your trading methodology. That's what matters. All right, and keep your risk managed. Okay, that's it for the economical calendar. Now we're going to go into the charts to see what's happening from a technical perspective. As usual, I'm going to be kicking things off with Dixie. As you guys can see here, well, Dixie performed pretty much to perfection. If you guys remember in the last week's weekly Forex Forecast video, I told you guys that, well, I would like to see Dixie give me a pullback into this particular demand zone area. As you can see, I kept an eye at institutional price level of 9,900. And you can see pretty much the markets came to 9,900, pretty much a perfect bounce at this point, and we are beginning to see that turnaround in price, okay? Personally, well, I would like to see this move continue going into next week. I would like to see markets take off this week's high that is sitting, I think, around 99.40. When price begins to take off, this week's high next week, that will increase my confidence that this market is truly bullish. And then any pullbacks, I'll be looking for demand zones that form in the smaller time frames for further continuations to the upside. Okay, that is gonna be pretty much what I would love to see in the Dixie going into next week. Now, obviously, these markets can do anything. Markets can open next week, and we'll probably see another push to the downside. Very, very possible. As long as this demand zone is still holding price, that is good enough. Okay, but what is looking more likely right now after the test of this 9,900 level, and honestly, if we do take off this high, okay, the high of this week's candle next week, that is going to be an indication to me that the bulls are coming into this market for further continuations to the upside. That's it for Dixie. Next up is going to be Euro US dollar. Now, for Euro US dollar, well, it's almost the inverse of Dixie. I'm currently short in this pair right now. All right, obviously you guys know that I was keeping an eye on this particular supply zone that we have right here that was formed as a result of the break of this level of structure on our charts. Okay, and well, price has now given us that pullback into that supply zone, and the bears are now beginning to come back in, slowly but surely. So well, I'm already short in this pair. I actually call that in my Discord channel. Now, speaking about Discord, I think this is going to be a very good time for me to talk about my Discord that I just opened. I opened my Discord earlier this week, guys. So well, feel free to join my Discord. The link is going to be in the description area, and I'm probably going to be adding the link as well as a pinned comment. All right. So yes, I just literally started my Discord this week where I am posting my trades, all right, going forward. All right, so feel free, like I said, to check out my Discord channel. Is free. All right, so hey, what do you stand to lose? Okay, all right, so without wasting much of your time, let's get back into the charts. As you can see right here, well, euro dollar, well, is closing the day bearish. Like I said, in the case of Dixie, what I would like to see when the market opens next week is for price to take off the low of this week, okay? When price begins to take off that low, that is going to really increase my confidence that the bears are coming into this market. And honestly, upon pullbacks, I'll also be searching for opportunities to even add to my already winning euro dollar trade, okay? That is going to be my plan, for next week going into euro dollar. And also, if price begins to move down, I'll be searching in the smaller time frames as well for further continuations to the downside. Markets can open next week and the bulls come into this market again to push to the upside. That doesn't matter as long as this supply zone continues to hold. In my own opinion, the bears are still in control. Only when this supply zone begins to give way to the upside, that is when I'm going to, probably start searching for long opportunities. But below this supply zone, I am still interested in only short opportunities in euro dollar at this moment. Okay, all right, so let's see how it goes as we go into next up. That's it for euro, US dollar. Next up is going to be British pound, some US dollar. This pair right now, it's a lot of hesitation. In my opinion, there is a clear supply zone that is sitting in this area right around that 13300 institutional price level. Also, this area is a previous area of support on our charts. Okay, so well, the markets can easily start shooting down from here. The best case scenario, in my own opinion, as we have now taken off this supply, is for this pair to find a way to make it towards 13300 institutional price level. From there, which coincides with this supply zone. Now, this is going to be the highest quality area, in my own opinion, for this pair to start searching for opportunities to turn around. Okay, that is what I would prefer to see in this pair. But again, based on what I'm seeing in the DXY and in euro dollar, who knows? This pair can easily turn around from here and start printing new supply zones in the process. Okay, it's not the best looking at this moment, to be completely honest. So I'm staying away from British pound, some US dollar at the moment. Okay, but I just wanted to let you guys know that, well, in the event that this market finds a way to push into the supply zone area right around 13300, any reversals from there, in my own opinion, will be high quality trades for further continuations to the downside. Now, in my own opinion, again, this is the best course of action, but I will also not be surprised if the market opens next week and this pair just starts to plummet to the downside, taking off these lows. If it begins to push to the downside and starts clearing all this intraday level of support that we have in here, then in my own opinion, any supply zones that form in the smaller time frame, I'll be looking for an opportunity to go short for further continuations to the downside. All right, that's it for British pound, some US dollar. Next up is going to be Australian dollar, US dollar. Now, this pair, guys, again, I told you guys that I'm quite short in this pair. If you watch the midweek forex forecast, I told you guys that price might find a way to push into this particular trend line, and then the bears probably will start shooting to the downside. Okay, now I'm still bearish. However, price is now in some form of triangular consolidation, as you can see here. We did have a breakout pullback continuation in this particular pair. You can see how we broke off of this flag formation, pulled back to retest that flag formation, and now we are about to see that continuation. But again, we have yet to take off the low of that continuation pattern. Okay, so it's not yet complete, and now the market has now pulled back again in some form of a triangular consolidation at this point. Okay, so well, we are consolidating right now. I'm not interested in going long until this pair takes off this high. Okay, that's the only time I'm going to be interested in going long, and I'm not interested in going short either inside this consolidation. So what I want to see in this pair right now before I click on my buy or sell button, actually on my sell button, will be for this pair to break free off of this consolidation. When that happens, then I will start searching for short opportunity upon pullbacks into any supply zones that will be forming on our chart. Okay, like I said, the only time I'm interested in going long in this pair is if this pair begins to take off this high that we have in this area right around 0.6700. Okay, but until that, only thing I'm interested in is shorts, and shorts after a break. Okay, after taking off this low of this breakout pullback continuation pattern. All right, so that's pretty much it for Australian dollar, US dollar. Next up is going to be, let me check, I think it's New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Yep, so New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Well, again, we have a very nice flow in this particular currency pair, but it's been a lot of hesitation with all that push we had in euro dollar. New Zealand dollar, US dollar was pretty much ranging. In my own opinion, this is the area where I have the supply zone. So my best course of action in this pair is going to be to see this pair give me a push to the upside into that supply zone, and that is where I would like to see the BS begin to come into this market. That being said, price has just retested this previous support level that was broken that can easily work as resistance, and the markets can again, just like in the case of GU, begin to turn around from here for further continuations to the downside. That is also possible. But again, if we push into this area, better levels to sell from. If we begin to turn around from here, I will keep an eye on the smaller time frames, okay, for supply zones that form, all right, as a result. Okay, that's it for New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Next up is going to be US dollar, Canadian dollar. US dollar, Swiss francs. This pair was behaving in a textbook pattern. I was keeping an eye at 0.8000, okay. Honestly, at this point, it is still not bad as long as price is still trading above these lows that we have in this area. Okay, as long as price is trading above these lows, in my own opinion, bulls can easily come back into this market and start pushing this market to the upside. Okay, that is what I can see in US dollar Swiss francs. So, well, all this push to the downside, in my own opinion, are just opportunities to get in on high risk to reward positions for further continuations to the upside. Now, that being said, I am not long in this pair. Okay, I'm not long in this pair. I was keeping an eye at 0.8000, but you can see the markets kind of broke through those demand zones that we had at that particular area. Even this demand zone that we have here in the daily as well, the market has also pierced below it. It didn't close below it, but pierced below it. Okay, these lows are still holding. It's pretty much the last line of defense at this point. So, well, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this pair for continuations to the upside. So my course of action going into next week, or what I will like to see, which is not necessarily what the markets will do, but what I would like to see in the smaller time frames, is for demand zones to start forming, to start taking off the supply zones that push these markets to the downside, and then I'll be looking for those demand zones and any pullbacks into them for further continuations to the upside. Okay, that is what I would like to see. For example, if we take a look right now, I think in the hourly time frame, all right, you notice that well, let me expand this. You notice that, well, price actually gave us a push to the downside. All right, price gave us a nice push to the downside. Obviously, this is a supply zone in this chart, this is a supply zone in this chart, and this is also a supply zone in this chart. But if you notice, after this push to the downside, this supply zone has now given way to the upside. Okay, so that's what I mean. And again, we are almost at this second supply zone as well. So I would like to see the markets give me a break of this supply zone. At that point, honestly, any demand zones that form in the process, I'm going to be looking for an opportunity to go long for further continuations to the upside. This is going to be my preferred course of action because I'm more interested in long opportunities in this pair, as far as that low that I showed you on the daily time frame is holding price. All right, so that's it for US dollar Swiss francs. Next up is going to be US dollar Canadian dollar. Okay, in this particular pair, you guys know that I am generally bullish in this pair. Okay, very generally bullish. Prices again still trending in the monthly to the upside. We still have enough rooms for that to happen, and well, the markets have now given us a pullback, but to be honest, this pair can easily turn around from here. These are tricky. This type of demand zones are tricky. This is also a demand zone, but I really don't like to take trades off of this type of demand zones. Okay, I don't like to trade off of these demand zones. I like the ones that really print that red candle before the green ones come in. All right, but again, this is a demand zone in here, and to be completely honest with you, chances are we might be about to see this market take off again to the upside, because again, you can see this very nice outside bar candle formation that we have in here. All right, this is an outside bar candle formation, and today's price action have taken off the high of that outside bar candle formation. So, well, these pullbacks, in my own opinion, anywhere from right around here, these markets can easily start going back again to the upside. So, well, if this is my preferred course of action, what it means is all I will do is wait in the smaller time frame. All right, maybe minute 30, hour 1 time frames, minute 15 even. If the markets begin to turn around, any demand zones that form in the in those time frames, I'm going to be looking for pullbacks in for further continuations to the upside. Okay, but from this daily time frame, I would prefer personally to see this pair give me a push into this particular area, which, to be completely honest with you, it is highly unlikely based on the price action that I'm seeing develop on my charts. Okay, but again, it is very, very possible. So I want you to understand, at the end of the day, the market has the final say. But again, I am just saying what I would like to see before I make any trading decisions. All right, let's understand the difference. Okay, now that's it for US dollar Canadian dollar. Next up is going to be US dollar Japanese yen. Now for dollar yen, again, the dollar pairs continue to push to the upside. Okay, there was a kind of weird price action that happened earlier today. You can see this push to the downside, grabbing liquidity below these pullback areas and then just pushing back up. I'm not really liking this particular, kind of move right now. So I would really like to see more price action in this pair. They are looking generally bullish. You can see, just look at the trend, is generally pointing to the upside, as you can see. So, well, I won't be surprised if the bulls continue to push this thing to the upside. Maybe with this type of sellout, maybe, who knows, we might get some pullback before the bulls come back into this market, or the markets can open and they just continue pushing this thing to the upside. Okay, all in all, there is a clear area on our chart right now of resistance. As you can see, this line right here is a clear area of resistance. I would like to see the markets give me a break of that to show me that the bulls are still in this market. Then upon pullbacks, I'll be searching for demand zones that led to that break of structure for further continuations to the upside. That is what I would prefer to see in US dollar Japanese yen at this moment, okay, based on the price action that we are seeing now. If I show you, this is the level, just to make sure that everything is clear, this is the level that I'm telling you that I'm seeing on this chart. You can see it's been a clear area of resistance on our charts even up until today. So, well, what I would love to see in this pair is for the markets to give me a break of that level. Then upon pullbacks, any demand zones that led to the break of that level of structure, I'll be interested in searching for long opportunities for further continuations to the upside. All right, so that's it for US dollar Japanese yen. Next up is going to be British pounds and Japanese yen. Now again, this one even had a weird price formation, kind of messed everything up. But again, in this case, it's almost looking like we have a double bottom at this point. You can see how price retested this area earlier today, and then from there we started shooting back up to the upside. We have this top right here sitting just above 204 institutional price level. So again, let's see how it goes. In the middle of nowhere at this point, I'm identifying this as a range. If the market begins to pull back to the downside, that might be areas to start searching for long opportunities, because again, the trend is generally to the upside. But in terms of price action, this is really looking very ugly at this point. Clear price action will be for a break at this particular highs around 204, and honestly, any push to the downside towards the lows, in my own opinion, maybe 202.50 area, 202.75 area. Any reversals from there, we can also afford to start searching for long opportunities for further continuations to the upside. All right, but for where the market is at this point, there's not much that I can say. Obviously, I'm probably going to be giving you guys a better update during the midweek forex forecast video that I'll be releasing in the middle of next week. All right, so that's pretty much it for British pounds and Japanese yen. Next up is going to be euro yen. Euro yen, in my own opinion, we do have a new demand zone has formed on the daily. As you can see here, we now have this really nice push to the upside that led to the break of this level of structure that created this demand zone in the process. So, well, I'm keeping an eye on this. This is one possible price action that I would like to see. All right, a bounce off of, let's say, 177 institutional price level area. That area, in my own opinion, is going to be a high quality for us to start searching for long opportunities. I'm keeping an eye on that. But if the market doesn't get in there, we still have also another demand zone area. Okay, you can see this demand zone right here that led to the break of this level of structure. So again, I would like to see these markets give me a dip in here. Any reversals from right around here, I will also be looking for opportunities to go long for further continuations to the upside. All right, that is my preferred course of action at this point. Now, the markets can easily open and just start shooting to the upside again. When that happens, this pair is generally pointing to the upside in an uptrend. So again, if that happens, I'll be in the smaller time frames looking for opportunities, all right, off of demand zones that form in the smaller time frames. All right, so that's pretty much it for euro yen at this point. Obviously, any trades that I am going to take, I'm going to be posting in the Discord channel that I have opened. So guys, feel free to join my Discord channel. All right, so that's it for euro yen. Next up is going to be Australian dollar Japanese yen. This one right here is kind of weird, to be completely honest. I'm not even gonna waste much time here. I was keeping an eye on this demand zone area, but you see this push in here and then this kind of move weaken below it, weaken below this area. I really didn't like this move anymore. But again, it can still go up from here. Not my best setup, to be completely honest. So I'm not gonna, be making any. I'm gonna wait to see a better price action. I'll keep you guys posted during the midweek forex forecast. Okay, British pound Australian dollar is gonna be in the same situation. You can see the markets. In my own opinion, what I would like to see is for price to give me maybe a dip towards, let's say, 19800. That is what I have been calling for this particular pair. This is the demand zone of interest. Price is in there right now, but I would like to see price give me a push towards 19800, and then from there, the reversal I would like to see is to the upside. Okay, all right. So that's it for British pound and Australian dollar. Not much, to be completely honest. In the smaller time frames, it's always almost like a sideways consolidation at this point. You can see the way that the market is moving at this point. It's just to the side. It's just sideways price action. Okay, so what I want to see personally, one more push to the downside towards 198, and then from there, reversals for further continuations for a new swing to the upside. All right, that's it for British pound Australian dollar. Next up is going to be euro pounds. Not gonna waste your time on this one. All I'm waiting for in this pair, honestly, is for price to give me a push into this area. All right, breakout of this area. This is the demand zone that led to the breakout of that area. Any reversals from right around 87.50 area, I'll be looking for opportunities to go long for further continuations to the upside. I really don't like trading this pair on the intraday perspective because, again, it doesn't really have that much volatility. But from the longer time frames, you know, I like keeping an eye on euro pounds. All right, so that's it for euro pounds. Next up is going to be euro Australian dollar. Again, I really do not have much in euro Australian dollar. Sideways price action, as you can see here. I'm not going to waste your time. Now, on to gold. Gold, earlier this week, if you remember, I said I was keeping an eye around that 40-50 level, and I said if the bulls give us a break of that level, that would be an indication that the bulls are winning the battle. You can see this was the bearish area, okay, and you can see the bulls have actually even traded above that supply zone that was holding price in this area. So the bulls are in control, at least at this point. However, we had very rigorous selling, all right, very rigorous selling that took off this demand zone in momentum. So again, these are mixed feelings at this point. Even though we took off this demand zone area, the market literally is finding support off of that particular level. Okay, you can see this level that was support here, resistance here, back now is working as support, for at least for now. So again, course of action will be next week. If the markets continue to push to the upside, then maybe this level is holding, all right, and then we might be about to see another push to the upside towards those swing high areas that we have on the daily charts. Okay, but again, the markets can open next week. Keep an eye. If we begin to trade below these lows next week in momentum, then chances are maybe, just maybe, that might be the beginning of this push to the upside. I'm still generally bullish in this pair, but it's not the best looking. Personally, if you take a look at silver is looking a little more promising in my own opinion, but again, very similar. You can see this is a demand zone. In the case of silver actually, if you take a look at the daily charts, it performed way better than gold. Okay, you can see silver actually has gotten to its previous swing high before that retracement happened. Okay, so anybody who went long in this pair, at least got to some form of profit taking levels in this pair. Okay, so that is silver for you. So silver did better than gold from a swing perspective, and you can see the demand zone that we have in the 4 hours time frame is still holding price, all right, as you can see here. And we do have this trend line that is also being respected at this point. What is my course of action? Well, keeping an eye on this one. If the market opens next week and we begin to see nice push to the upside, okay, breaking clearly above 51, then any pullbacks will be opportunities to go long for further continuations to the upside. Okay, now if this market begins to trade when the market opens next week, taking off this week's low that we have in this area, trading below this trend line massively, I'm going to be calling it a day in this pair and analyzing it further, because chances are the markets might now be on its way to the downside. So this is a very significant point of inflection in my own opinion, where the markets will have to make a significant decision whether to continue to the upside or whether to now break to the downside to probably start a long retracements in the longer time frames. Okay, that's pretty much it for silver. Last but not the least is Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is in some serious push to the downside. Well, that area that was working as a double bottom, well, it ended up not being a double bottom. It just ended up being a support level, and now you can see the bears are coming in momentum. Obviously, we are trading clearly below that 100k level right now, around 95k. The next area that can work as area of demand in this pair is right around this big block that I have mapped out right now. But again, this might take a while for price to get there, but well, this market, in my own opinion, if we begin to get in here, that would be an opportunity to start searching for reversal opportunities to start adding into positions for further continuations to the upside in Bitcoin. All right, so that's gonna be the level to keep an eye on at this point. To be honest, I think the bears are gonna continue to do their thing and find a way to push this thing into this space between 88k and 76k that we have in this area. All right, and then from there, any reversal patterns, in my own opinion, might be a nice opportunity to start searching for long opportunities for further continuation to the upside. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for my weekly forex forecast for this upcoming week. Hopefully you gained some value from this video, and if you did, guys, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you'll always receive updates whenever I post a video. All right, that's it. Cheers, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.